As you can see from the title of this video, this is me wanting to rant about the Callisto protocol. Game came out about 8 days ago, I believe, at the time of me recording this. I think, honestly, I don't remember. Now, the Callisto protocol, huge game. I'm hyped for this game. I've been hyped for it since it was announced. We got Glenn Schofield. He's making a Dead Space game essentially. It's not actually Dead Space. It's Dead Space though. I like me some Dead Space. I love me some horror games. So new AAA horror game. It's looking pretty nice. Sounds baller. I'm in. I pre-ordered it a while back. I pre-ordered this quite some time back, and I'm so hyped to play it. And I start playing it. Like the first hour, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it. It's a little janky. I'm feeling it though. It's a bit more than just a little janky. This game has some serious issues. Obviously, if you're playing on PC, there's like a lot of stuttering issues. A lot of stuff like that. On console versions were apparently like fine for the most part. Like some people experienced a few things here and there. I played the PS4 version, as that's what I had access to. So it was fine for the most part. It mostly ran at like a stable 30. There were a couple areas where it dropped down, probably like I'd say like 15 to 20 frames, but it was still playable. However, the worst part of this game, like in my opinion, is the combat. Uh, Dead Space's combat, it felt really tactical, because you were like, okay, which weapon should I use here? What firing mode should I use here? What limbs should I cut off that would be the most effective? So it never felt like you were just trying to just get through the combat encounter. It never felt like you were just struggling to get through it. It was always like, okay, how do I do this the best way possible so I can save on my resources? And that's why I love Dead Space's combat so much, is it's always like there's a good approach to every fight. You just gotta manage all your stuff so you can do it right. But we get to the Callisto Protocol's combat, and okay, it's got like a big focus on melee. I'm cool with that. It's interesting. Most of the time when horror games are focused on a melee combat, you have them be really jankily combat oriented. Like it's like, okay, you have like a basic attack, you can't really dodge out of the way or anything. It's just like you just gotta hit it until it dies. And Callisto Protocol's like, oh no, we're gonna have like button combos essentially is what they made it sound like. You got like your basic normal attacks. You get an upgrade pretty early on if you feel like making it, where you'll get heavy attacks. You have blocking, dodging. However, the blocking and dodging is tied to probably the worst mechanic I've ever experienced in terms of dodging in a game, which is the dodging is tied to you moving your analog stick or pressing A or D or whatever the fuck you're playing with, left or right, and then if you want to block, you pull it back. So basically, you gotta be moving the whole time if you want to block or dodge. Which you can do it last second, so you're not constantly moving. The problem is I had numerous occasions where I would dodge an attack. It would play the animation, and it's like the first attack being thrown out, and I'm dead. Like it hits me and I die, and I'm like, okay, I dodged it. The animation played. There's nothing like stopping me from dodging. Why am I dead? Blocking also like does not reduce a whole lot of damage until you get those later upgrades, so it's kind of pointless to block unless you really have to block something. Like other than that, I think like the melee combat was nice. I felt like there was some good weight to the melee. It felt nice. I felt like it was an actual struggle to fight. I just feel that the dodging and blocking mechanic brought that down hugely. Like I made it so much worse than it needed to be, for no real reason. So combat's mostly fine. Guns feel fine for the most part. Hand cannon feels really weak. Like I pre-ordered the game. I had like the contraband pack, so I was able to get a bunch of credits. I upgraded my hand cannon almost to max So like it was almost fully upgraded. I was missing like the final upgrade, and it's like still barely doing anything. And it's like, okay, there's an issue here. If my gun I just got, that I have almost fully upgraded, there's a damage upgrade on it too, is barely doing any damage. There's an issue there with that. There's a problem. Shotguns felt fine. The assault rifle felt fine. You get an assault rifle towards the end of the game. Whatever. It all feels fine for the most part. It's just like that first hand cannon and like the tactical pistol that you can get feel very weak. Don't feel worth using like at all really. Past the first part of the game, tactical pistol just never felt like it was worth using. Other than like, okay, I have a lot of ammo for it. I might as well burn it, so I don't just have to sell them or drop them for good ammo like for the shotguns or assault rifle. So whatever, I do that. All good, all fine and dandy. Good times to be had. My throat is fucking dying right now. Game seems like all fine and good, other than like that, which it's a pretty big issue. Next thing I'm gonna talk about before I want to go into like story stuff. So last thing you're gonna get before I start spoiling the shit out of this game. So in Dead Space, jump scares were like, they were a thing. They were pretty common. It's not like they were uncommon. You get jump scared pretty often for the most part. However, my favorite part of this game, where I was like, I'm just fucking done. I don't care anymore. I'm walking down a hallway. This hallway should probably take like 10 seconds to walk through, like maybe 6 to sprint through. I start walking down it. Enemy jumps out of a vent. Okay, we got like an enemy jump scare. I kill the enemy. I take 2 steps forward. Enemy jumps out of the vent. So another enemy jump scare. And then it happened 2 more times. And I'm finally like, okay, I'm through this hallway. Let me walk for like 10 seconds, please. Just give me a few seconds where nothing happens. And I turn the corner, and there was an enemy right there. So I got another enemy jump scare. Like, I don't feel like I need to explain why having 5 jump scares in the span of like 20 seconds is fucking stupid and a bad idea. But it is a horrible idea. The whole game, I'm not scared at all in this game. It's like, okay, something's gonna jump out like every 10 seconds. Or, there's gonna be something on the floor. Or maybe I'll open this chest and something will jump out, whatever. It's just not scary because of how it's the standard. It's not the exception. I'm gonna get jump scared. I'm more scared now when like nothing's happening because it's like, oh god, they're about to hit me with 20 fucking enemies in a room if they're not jump scaring me right now. I just don't want to deal with 20 enemies in a room. I'd rather have the fucking 5 jump scares back to back. So yeah, jump scares, they way overdid them. Like, the reason it worked in Dead Space as well is Dead Space had the atmosphere. It had moments where you'd be walking around and maybe you'd see an enemy way far off scatter past a window or something, or run by a room or something. But you had long areas where nothing would happen. So it was building this tension up. It had the atmosphere. And then you'd get the jump scare and the combat encounter. It's not you get the combat encounter and jump scare 5 times, then you're getting tension. And then it's just the same shit over and over. Maybe it'll throw in a boss fight or like a endurance room, essentially. Now, we're going to get into the spoilers now. The main story stuff. I think the acting was really good. Like, for the most part, all the acting was really solid. I enjoyed it. Story, I'm really mixed on it. I think, like, the big plot twists were very, it was like, okay, it's obviously that's what's going to happen. You just see it at the start of the game. It's like, okay, this is exactly what's going on. So whatever. But, like, halfway through the game, it's a bit more than halfway. It's like last quarter of the game. You're getting the reveal of like, oh, you were transporting the virus that's causing all of this. So, the attack in Europa that happened at the start of the game is your fault, technically. The attack in the prison is your fault, essentially. So, whatever. Saw that coming. You know, it was what was gonna happen with all the stuff they show you right at the start of the game. Uh, but then it's like, oh, there's the alpha patient, you know, patient zero, and you know they were able to use this virus to mutate and control it and still retain their humanity. And it's like, okay, cool, I guess we're on our Resident Evil shit now, buddy. Whatever. So you make your way up to the warden's tower for the last part of this game. It's like, we gotta go, the person you're with is, sick, got infected. We gotta go kill the alpha patient, mix it with this serum, and we can cure her. Cool. You get the boss fight, it's okay. The boss fight was fine. I feel like it could have done without the rush of exploding enemies that happens like 4 times in the fight. But it was fine for the most part. It was okay. I didn't really care for it that much. I like its design. You get to that, you kill it, cutscene plays out. It's like, oh, well, now we got to get to the escape pod. Station's blowing up. And you get to the escape pods. There's only one left. Main character throws the girl in there, gives her the evidence of what's happened, shoots her out. And, he's left there to fight until he's dead. And then it's revealed, oh, well, actually, the doctor woman, who was like the scientist behind all of this, who's been doing the experiments and leading all of it, she actually was able to prevent the station the prison from exploding completely, for a while. And now you've got to help her so you two can escape. Despite the fact that you both were like, oh yeah, we're totally cool with just dying here. And then you're given a jump scare, and the game ends. And it's like, okay, well, there's going to be a story DLC, that's what it's going to be. But it feels like they kind of just were like, hey, let's just end the game here, throw in a jump scare, and then we get $40 from a DLC. So needless to say, that was a really bad fucking ending. I gotta go on to say it's probably one of the worst horror game endings I've ever seen. Like, it is that bad. It is horrible. It does not feel good. And it's like, okay, I don't care enough to buy this DLC. I'm gonna just watch someone play this DLC online. I'm not spending $40 for the season pass, because I don't really care about the 13 death animations they're selling. I don't care about the horde survival or the permadeath, and I sure as hell don't care about the story DLC, because the story is like pretty bad at this point. Like, I was like halfway through the game, I'm like, okay, story's like getting pretty good. I'm liking this. I'm really enjoying the story right now. And then they just threw that away in that last act. And it genuinely feels like they just kind of cut the ending short, and we're like, okay, we're gonna lock the last part of the game behind a DLC. I really don't like that at all. But story stuff out of the way, I just kind of want to, final thoughts. I think this game is like, it's okay, I guess. Like, if you get this game discounted, I'd say like 30 or less. I would not spend more than $30 for this game. Because, this is like a $70 fucking game. This is an expensive game. I would not spend more than $30 for it. If you can wait until it's like 30 or less, get it then. That's like that's fine. If I paid 30 for it, I'd be fine with the game, honestly. But I spent $70. I'm not okay with it for $70. So yeah, if you can get this game on sale, like 30 or less, go for it. I say it's like a 6 out of 10, honestly, because there were moments where I'm like, okay, I'm liking this. This is a lot of fun. It's pretty good. These designs are like fucking horrifying, but there's just too much like jank and like, okay, this kind of sucks ass for me to be like, yeah, I'd say it's like a 7 or 8. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's like really mediocre. The only reason I don't think it's like a 5 out of 10 is because like the kill animations were really good. It's that nice brutal kill animations. They got those down perfectly. That's why it's a 6 instead of a 5. Those kill animations were fucking brutal. That's what I'm here for with this kind of game. I want some brutal shit. I want this crazy ass story. There's a lot of cool stuff. I want to like actually be like, oh holy shit, I don't want to go in this room. And sadly, I just got like, oh, that's a brutal kill. Like one of the kill animations, which is my favorite one in the game. Enemy like knocks you to the ground, stomps on your head once or twice, and then they rip your arm off, and you're just like sitting there screaming and whimpering, and it fades out. It's just like, hey yo, hold up. Wait, yo. But yeah, overall, like, I'd heavily wait on this game, especially if you're getting the PC version with all the issues it's been having. But like, I'm just really disappointed with the game. I think it could have been much better. I think they kind of rushed the game out to get ahead of Dead Space, honestly. Like, I've seen people kind of theorizing that that's what they did. And it really feels like it, especially with that ending. So, I mean, end of the day, you know, it's your choice on whether or not you want to play this game or what you think about the game. These are just my thoughts as someone who's, like, played Dead Space. I play a lot of horror games. I love horror media. Pretty much all I enjoy is, like, horror media at this point. So, you know, while I'm super disappointed by the game, I'm hopeful that, this company can go on and make some really cool shit later on, because it's got a lot of potential. There's a lot of really cool stuff with it. There's a lot of technical details. Like, this game looks fucking amazing. It is a really good looking game. I just wish the gameplay and story had been done way better. And that's why I'm, like, super disappointed with it. Should I have pre-ordered it? No, I should not have. However, that's a problem for past me to deal with. I have to just suffer through my consequence now. That's about it.